Good morning, grade 6. Welcome back to grade 6 mathematics class. Hope you all are doing great today. Let's talk about 3D shapes today. 3D shapes are three-dimensional shapes. So as the name indicates, such shapes have 3 dimensions. So dimensions means the measurements of the shape. So which are the 3 dimensions of 3D shapes? These are the length, breadth or width and the height or the depth. So 3D shapes or three-dimensional shapes are those shapes which have 3 dimensions such as the length, width and height. Since they have 3 dimensions, they will occupy some space and they will enclose some space within. And the space within contained in them is called the volume of the shape. So let's see these again. 3D shapes are solid shapes or objects that have 3 dimensions, that is length, width and height. Now 3D shapes occupy some space which is called the volume of the shape. Let's see a few real life examples of 3D shapes. Here you can see a ball and there we have a Rubik's cube. Here we have a bucket and there we have a book. You can see in all of these shapes there will be length, breadth, height or width or thickness to them. So these occupy some space and they contain some space within called the volume of the shape. So these are examples from our real life. Let's see a few more examples of 3D shapes. See, 3D shapes are also called solid shapes. Now here we have shapes such as cuboid, cube, sphere, cylinder, cone, pyramid and prism, different types of pyramids and prisms. These are all examples of solid shapes. So if we observe these shapes, you can see that all these shapes have some surface around them. And this surface around them encloses the volume within. And what about the surfaces? Are they flat surfaces or curved surfaces? So there are solid shapes which have got flat surfaces around them. There are shapes which have got curved surfaces around them, and you see where the surfaces meet, there are line segments. So the surfaces around them are called faces of the solid shape, and the line segment that you can see where 2 surfaces or 2 faces meet, they are called the edges of a solid shape. You can also see in some shapes there are corner points, sharp corner points, like in the case of a cube. There are sharp corners or corner points and these sharp corners are called vertices. A single point is vertex, the plural is vertices. Now let's see the definitions once again. The surface of a 3D shape is called its face. The line segment we see where 2 faces meet is called an edge. Now a vertex is a corner where edges meet. You can see the sharp corner points at the point where 2 or more edges meet. So these sharp points are called vertices. So a vertex is a corner where edges meet. Now let's see a 3D shape now. This is called the cuboid. It is like a shoebox. The shape of a shoebox is cuboidal. So here you can see for this cuboid, surfaces are around them. How many surfaces or faces are around the cuboid? There is a face at the top, there is a face at the bottom and there are faces around on the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 faces for a cuboid. Now what about the shape of these faces? The faces are rectangular, either rectangular or maybe on the sides they may be squares. Now a cuboid has got 6 faces. Now you can see where 2 faces meet, a line segment is there. So that line segment is called the edge of a solid shape. And where 2 or more edges meet, sharp corner points are there called the vertices. So how many faces, edges and vertices for a cuboid? There are 6 faces for a cuboid. Now what about the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4. Same at the bottom. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now on the sides 9, 10, 11, 12. So a total of 12 edges. Now what about the vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 vertices for a cuboid. Similarly, each type of solid shape has got their own properties. Now, let's talk about prisms. So, this is a special kind of solid shape. A prism is a solid shape which has got two identical bases and the cross section along its length will be the same. Now, what is cross section? So, if you cut through the solid shape across its length or breadth, the surface exposed or the shape exposed is called the cross section, and if you cut through a prism, the cross section will look the same at any point. So, what is a prism? A prism is a solid shape which has two identical bases and its all other faces are rectangles or parallelograms. It has the same cross section all along its length. Let's see the pictures of a few prisms and make it more clear. Here you can see triangular prism, square prism and pentagonal prism. A prism is named depending upon the shape of its bases. So, this is a triangular prism. The two flat bases, these are triangular in shape, you can see. So, since the bases are triangles, it is called a triangular prism. Now, what about the faces? See, all its faces are rectangles. Now, if the prism is obliquely cut at both ends, the faces of the prism will be parallelograms instead of rectangles. Now, look at the square prism. Here, you can see the bases, the two identical bases are squares. Hence the name square prism. What about the cross section? If you cut through the prism at any point, the cross section will look the same. In the case of a triangular prism, the cross section will have the shape of a triangle. Whereas in the case of a square prism, if you take the cross section, it will look square in shape. Now, this is a pentagonal prism. The two identical bases here which are pentagons. Now, what about the faces? Look at the faces around it. These faces are rectangular. Now, if you cut across the length of the pentagonal prism like this, what would be the shape of the cross section? It will be pentagonal in shape. So, a prism is a solid shape which has got two identical bases and the faces around the prism will be either rectangles or parallelograms. Now, a prism has the same cross section all along its length and a prism is named based on the shape of its bases. So, I hope this is clear to you. Now, we will talk about pyramids. All of you might be familiar with the pyramids of Egypt. So, you might have seen the shape. So, a pyramid is a solid shape which has got triangular faces and the shape of the base may vary. And a pyramid is named based on the shape of its base. Now, all the triangular faces of a pyramid will meet at the top and that point is called the apex of the pyramid. So, we can define a pyramid as a solid shape with triangular surfaces and a polygon base. The triangular surfaces meet at a common point called the apex of the pyramid. Here you can see a few examples of pyramids. The first one is a square pyramid. Why the name? Because see the base has the shape of a square. Now, here you can see the triangular faces around the pyramid and all these triangular faces meet at a common point here and this common point is called the apex of the pyramid. Now, the next one, a triangular pyramid. See the base is a triangle, hence the name triangular pyramid. Now, on the sides, we have got triangular surfaces or triangular faces and the triangular faces meet at the top and it's called the apex of the triangular pyramid. And this is a hexagonal pyramid. The base is a hexagon. The faces on the sides are triangles. They meet at the top or they meet at the apex. Now, here this is a pentagonal pyramid. The base is a pentagon. We have triangular faces on the sides and the apex at the top. So, you can see for a pyramid, the faces will be triangular in shape, the base will be a polygon and the triangular faces meet at a common point called the apex of the pyramid. So, I hope this is clear to you. You may go through this topic once again. This is given from page number 190 of your textbook. Now, once you have gone through that, you'll be ready to work out the questions from exercise 12.7. You also have to go through the try this exercise project, maths around us and highlights given in the following pages. So once you are done with the answers of the exercise, please do take a picture and send us through Teams. So that's all for today, children. We'll meet in the next class with the questions from revision time exercise. Till then, bye.